Good morning. So nice to see you guys today. And how many of you are flying home today? Whoa. Oh, that's a lot.
Thank you for
coming. I hope you're ready. I'm so glad you're here then. This is great. What we're going to do, and I just want to give you a little, so you know how we're going to logistically move through our presentation. We're going to be toggling back and forth between what I see in the teacher iPad and a PowerPoint presentation. Now, in our classrooms, we probably would have, if we were doing a presentation or an interactive session with students, would have probably stayed with one device just on the iPad. But because of a large number that we were predicting in our session, we have put some of the features that are audio-visual through the PowerPoint because we didn't predict that everyone would have headphones with them this morning, and then we'd have competing sound. So there are features in Nearpod and our other apps that we aren't fully showing you them all because of our, our situation. So I will do my best, and we will do our best to let you know when we're want our attention just to be on the screen, or when we want your attention to be in the handheld presentation on your iPad or iPhone. Does that make sense? And everybody with us there? Okay, thanks. So right now on your personal presentation on your lap, you're within Nearpod, you see the same basic screen as you see on here, which happens to be in my PowerPoint at this moment. So I'm going to toggle over to just the document camera, and I'm going to, did it switch? Yes. And I'm going to show you that the teacher device, you are basically holding the student device in your hand, but the teacher device looks pretty similar, right? I can see the screen here of what you are seeing, but also on the teacher device I have, and if you choose to use it as the teacher, I have a panel down here that shows me all of my pre-prepared slides that I would like to engage my class in. So as we go through today, I will be making all kinds of instructional decisions on the fly based on what our audience is saying, what our students already know, so that I can use that formative assessment as the instructor to choose to tailor my lesson as I go. And so as we work with our teachers and in our roles in our district, we really are thinking about the pedagogy of how we're grouping kids, what we're trying to get out of it as the particular lesson. And you're going to see some interesting features that help you get a deeper understanding about what your students know. So we're going to go through there, and some of our slides that we made are just so we can learn a little bit about you like you would do with your class. So is everybody in who has a device with them right now before I go to the interactive features? Great. So the first couple of questions in Nearpod typically ask who you are. And in your classrooms, you can choose to be anonymous or ask students to enter their names or give students codes. And you make that decision based on what what you want to know. So we're going to start the Nearpod. So it's going to ask you to enter some information. And you can go ahead and do that, and you have to hit submit. And when your students get some feedback, if their submission is successful, you should get a big thank you. And you have to wait until the instructor in this particular, I don't want to get feedback, if this particular, in this particular setup, you have to wait for the instructor to go to the next part. So, looks like we have 104 people logged in. And then you can see I can scroll through and see who's entered their information in real time. Okay, so that's basic, and I'm going to go on. You can see how that works. So here's I want to know some information about people. My screen looks different than yours. I'm in the teacher module, so what you're seeing up here is what the teacher's seeing, and what's in your lap is what the students would be seeing, whatever questions you provided for them. And what's really wonderful as the instructor is that you get a visual of the results as they're coming in, and as a teacher, you can drill down kind of in your data and take a look. Maybe this is about a specific content, last night's homework, and you want to know if they've got it or not and what you should be asking next. Should you just go on? Should you go back? But for us, it's a little more fun. Look at that pie up there. It's very nice and colorful. Well, we have a good percentage of classroom teachers in here. Some facilitators and coaches. free text, and people who are other tech coach, classroom teacher, principals, computer technician, so I can get all that data in the instructor view immediately. Oh, we have a nice balance. Administrators, and a few no answers, so you would know. And then you could go back as the instructor and say, Mel, did your device drop out of the Wi-Fi? Can I help you? It could be a number of things. So that actually, I'm going to cross my fingers. I think we're doing pretty well here. In the classroom, very rarely were there any connectivity issues. We have a robust wireless system in our district and in our classrooms. Occasionally, if their Wi-Fi goes out, we taught the students how to, double-click the home screen, go to their settings, turn the Wi-Fi back on, and the presentation goes right back to where whatever screen the instructor's is on. Okay, so we're going to continue there. We know who's basically in the room. And a couple other quick questions. What area do you typically influence? Everything, middle, high, elementary?
Absolutely. Okay, so we go to the App Store. Find your App Store.
And
we need you to download the Nearpod app. Just follow these instructions. Okay.
Look at
and
that.
You'll be in the presentation with us. Okay.
Free text. More than, we have some K-12.
You want to get rid of Evernote.
Everything. Got a nice, again, lots of expertise in this room. All right, we're going to go on to one more. This is a particular feature, besides you saw a poll there. Those two were polls. This next feature, for this question, what is your favorite app and why, is a feature that teachers have told us that they found very valuable. It's a draw it feature. You can write in with your finger or stylus or whatever. You can draw a picture of something or just draw words with your finger right on the screen. And if it doesn't show up, switch the color because we've got a black background here. And so there's some creativity tool here, limited, but as the teacher,
It's an app where you can just
as soon as you hit submit, for this simple question.
lesson you created, they will see the student version. You will have and you can design different
Okay, so as you can see, there's some popping up as people are entering their responses. Notability, Nearpod with a big happy face. Again, we've got this wonderful formative assessment here, right in the teacher's device. And you can scroll through those and look at those as they come in. Splash math. So I'm going to give you just another couple of seconds here to enter something, because this is not the whole purpose of the presentation, but just to give you a taste of some of these app features. And I'm going to show you that if, as an instructional decision, as an educator, I can choose something that's valuable for the lesson of the day. If I'm in a math class and I see a very unique approach and I want to share that out with my students, or I find a common mistake or common, error, right? And I want to show that and facilitate the discussion and say, what do you think about this, students? So that they are actually using those mathematical practices and engaging in someone else's thinking. I don't accidentally share it, because you notice I selected that, but it's not on your screen yet. It gives me, there's kind of a second step you have to do as the instructor so you don't make that oops. I have to share button as well. So I can look at it, decide that as the instructor, and then choose to share. So now once you have it, my instructional pedagogy, what do I want to do with it, is the part that in our roles that's part of our job to help our teachers think about what kind of questions can you predict you're going to want to ask your class before you go ahead and construct a presentation like this. So that's one of our features that teachers really find quite valuable. Okay, so we're going to move a little further, and to get to the bones of our experience within our districts, we want to know the answer to this question. right, so we're going to move forward, and I'm going to turn it over, and we're going to go out of some of the Nearpod features into the PowerPoint so that we can share to you something that's multimodal, audio and visual as well.
So as we were coming up with this presentation and knowing what it was we wanted to share with you and emphasize with you, we thought of you as our class. And so we wanted to share TPAC, which is our framework for lesson design. And we tried to think of what would be the best way to impart that information to you. It's based on a ton of research and a lot of data. And so Joanne and Julia sat down and said, how can we take all of this and condense it into a nice, neat package that makes it available to others in a visually stimulating way? So they chose the app Doceri, and this is what they came up with.
TPAC is a framework that we find helpful in developing meaningful and effective lessons. The acronym TPAC stands for the words describing different domains of teacher knowledge. These words are technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. TPAC also stands for the idea that when teachers choose to balance their subject matter, effective teaching practice, and leverage technology tools in powerful ways, educational opportunities for all students are maximized. Whenever we start a project or lesson design, we begin with the content knowledge, sometimes called CK. The domain refers to what teachers want students to know, understand, and be able to do as a result of the lesson. We may reference district objectives, Common Core, state standards, etc. From there, we consider who the students are in the room, what instructional delivery is needed to develop their understanding, engagement, proficiency, and success. We refer to this domain as pedagogical knowledge, sometimes called PK. The technology knowledge domain, sometimes called TK, refers to knowledge about certain ways of thinking and working with technology, tools, and resources. So once we know our content and have selected the delivery of instruction, we determine which technology, if any, will best enhance the instruction. In the case of choosing apps, we consider what the apps afford: auditory capability, visual capability, collaboration opportunities, and access to a public audience. The goal is to operate at the heart of the TPAC framework. The challenge is to achieve a balance between all three domains while at the same time realizing that it is within a real-world context. This could include time constraints, limited access to technology, readiness challenges, etc. For more information, please go to tpac.org.
So that's not bad for a first try with this app. They were able to take all that information and create that wonderful Doceri video, which then becomes an archive. We can provide that to our teachers, and they can go back to it again and again and again. So nice job and nice narration, Joanne. So let's talk about this slide. You're going to see this slide or something similar for each of the apps that we're going to highlight. The C part where it says content, because of space space issues on this slide, we just put in really just a topic, okay, like TPAC. Or on the Wiki, we have one for linear equations that you can look up on the Wiki. But really the content piece comes from your state standards and benchmarks, Common Core if you've adopted that, or district initiatives, whatever it is that you are responsible for teaching. The pedagogical column, pedagogy, those are the ways that you want to present your information. You may want an auditory piece, a visual piece, a kinesthetic piece. You may want to be able to have flexible groups involved, and you want to make your thinking visible. And then under technology, finally, after you know your content, you know your pedagogical decisions, you've made those, then you want to choose a tech tool that might support it. There may be one, there may not be. We're going to highlight some of the best apps we've found. Okay. So now we're going to turn things over to Joanne, and I'm going to take door duty. But can you, Jorge, can you turn me off so that I don't go,
So has everybody's Nearpod slide moved over to the next one? Okay, good, 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 good.
Okay, before I start, I know there are people in the room that teach kindergarten, primary. I just want you to know that I feel like these apps are sort of like my outfit where I could dress it up and dress it down easily. It's be thinking about what you teach. Be thinking about the learners in your room. And you can just slide in your content to any, it's the app. We're telling you why we chose it or why the students chose it, but it'll work K-12. And then the next thing that I'm going to talk to you about is an example. I'm at the middle school level now, but I did teach elementary for years. And this example is from a language arts classroom. And this content involved participating in online inquiry book clubs between students from California and students from Michigan. And I have to say that I met my California contact right here at ISTE, and Bridget is in the room. So Bridget, where are you? This is her project. Yay, Bridget. Yay, Bridget. She was phenomenal. I hope that before you leave, you'll make a contact in this room and do some online connecting with other teachers. And what they did is they read novels around the theme of child labor, and they collaborated and created essential questions that the students wanted to learn more about. And they researched and worked together to create projects that showcase learning. I have done inquiry book clubs in first grade, and I have with high-end kids. It was Stone Fox, and I have done it with third through fifth. So that whole project can be done, and you can do it with iMovie. We're going to share an artifact from one of the groups, and while you're watching, please consider why iMovie was selected as the production tool by the students. So you can see those drawings. They seem, I think, very convincing, but they're also, again, think in terms of kindergarten, first grade, sliding things in there. So why would students pick the iMovie? This is the project. And in the project, you can pick your own music. And in this case, it was very emotionally charged. And I like that the kids have to pick the mood that they want to establish. They could set the timing on each slide. And they can adjust the length of the movie for optimal effectiveness for what they want, the message they want to communicate. And the kids picked this iMovie because they thought that being able to use those features would help them raise the awareness and persuade others to take action. So they thought for them that iMovie was the tool of choice. So the next example, this is an 8th grade history teacher who there's a lot of times there's timing issues in middle school and high school. It needs to be done. They have a lot on their plate. So he wanted something he could do in a week that was a formative assessment on the push-pull factors of colonies coming over to the New World. And they decided to use the trailer, not the feature aspect of iMovie. And they based it on a Pure Michigan advertising campaign. And I'm proud to say that in my San Antonio room, I saw the Pure Michigan advertisement right there. So this is an innovation from that. The trailer you'll be seeing is called Pure Colonial Pennsylvania. This is their PSA. So in this case, this movie trailer provides a pre-formatted storyboard and outline. And in the storyboard, there's like these little pools there as well. And they take their pictures and they just drag and drop them right in there. And they can use photos, they can use pictures that they've drawn. Anyway, the outline is where they can put in those small bites of text. And the reason that teachers really appreciate that is it discourages plagiarism because they have to synthesize that information that they read and the proof and the evidence and put it into a powerful word choice. So it promotes the creativity, and you heard or saw that student voice that came through. So that was their why they chose the iMovie trailer as opposed to the project that took a lot more time. Okay, so there's also an additional science example on the Wiki that showcases the trailer feature and an elementary example that showcases the project feature.
So when Joanne said that they could still hear their voice and choose, there are a whole bunch of templates that she talked about in the storyboard. You didn't have to have just that one with that music back there. It was really snappy, but there were other choices as well if you're familiar with iMovie trailer.
Okay.
Joan is going to run us through the next part where we need some
Victims.
Volunteers.
Volunteers. I need 3 volunteers. Don't be shy. 1, 2, 3. Come on up.
Yay!
Okay. Yay. Ooh. Joanne, I have the cards. Gonna put these here. Okay. So, since you're number 3, you are not allowed to look at the board. Okay? So 1 and 2, come on over. All right. So,
No peeking.
so I'm going to launch storylines, and we're going to do it right here. Okay? And Julia's going to switch us over to the iPad.
Oh, sure.
There we go. All right, so this is the Storylines app, and I love this because it's very visible, very visual, make your thinking visible. Yep. Okay, and we're going to start a storyline, and of course, volunteer number 3 can't see what you're doing. Okay, so number 1, I want you to tap on Start a New Story. Yep, there we go. And when you get to this page on Storylines, there's actually a community that you can join called Open Minds. And if you join the community, you can play it kind of like Words with Friends. So you could start a storyline and then let your friend know that you're connected to, that it's their turn, and you can go back and forth remotely. But we're just going to do pass and play. We can choose how big a group we have, and we have 3 players. All right, so what you do is you decide on a phrase or some piece of content that you want the students to work with, and it should be within context. So if we're doing a language arts class, okay, we would want to enter a phrase that has to do with language arts. I'm going to have you choose a quote, so just tap on quotes. Okay, choose one of those, but don't say it out loud and don't look. Don't look. Sometimes you have to send the kids out of the room, you know, so they aren't looking. But then if you have a window, they peek. It's terrible. Okay, so then sign your work. All right, and oh, you're good at this. And now you're going to pass it on, so you just tap the green. Now, your job is to draw this, to illustrate this. All right? But it's okay. Stick figures are awesome. Those of you in the audience, you'll notice your Nearpod is now changed. Your Nearpod looks a little bit like this screen. So why don't you put in your idea of what that quote would be. You do your sketching, but don't let this man know. Yeah. Sir, I'm sorry, sir, what's your name? John. We're not telling John anything, right? No. Okay, so you just tap in the middle of the screen and you start drawing. Well, just go ahead and draw. I have the free version. There aren't colors available for the free version. Yep, there you go. But if you want to get the upgraded version, you can get all different kinds of extra options with it. But we wanted to show you some free things.
And the nice thing is you're in the Nearpod right now, and so we wanted to include everybody in the drawing aspect. And you have colors available because it's on that Draw It screen. And we can go ahead and share those out if we chose. You know, if this was something you're doing in your classroom, it doesn't just have to be 3 players. Now you can coordinate more than one feature and one app together in your class to make sure you're more engaging more people at one time.
All right, that's fabulous. Okay, then you tap the plane and it says OK. All right, and then you're going to sign it. You have to click on the green arrow or tap on the green arrow. Okay, and now you're going, did you sign your name? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Then tap on, pass it on. Okay, turn around, John. Your job, John, is to figure out what the quote was. So, ladies, if you want to scoochy, just don't go too far. Just go that way a little bit. Okay, so, John, come on up here, and you get to type in what you think the famous quote is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a famous quote.
Okay.
No pressure.
Oh, you can't? No, see, this is a no discussion kind of a thing. So you do have to teach the kids this part. Okay? And then you could do the do-do-do,
Yeah.
do-do-do-do.
Wagon.
Oh, guy in a wagon. Bad hair. Or, actually, that's 3-dimensional, just so you know. So he's near whatever that is.
Gosh.
Type anything.
In other content area, while you're thinking about this, if you choose the free thing and not just the free text, enter your own, you might put a math problem in there, or you might put something
There's
about a definition.
vocabulary. Yeah. So if you're studying, okay, and then you, all right, now watch what happens. Now, okay, he's tapped on it. Let's tap on the arrow again. Say, okay. All right, and now you're going to sign it. Yeah, just type. Okay, and now we're finished. Click. I always want to say click. And here comes the storyline, and you can see it. So here's the story. You reap what you sow.
Nice.
There we go. And this is what John thought the picture illustrated. Now, While this is fun, it's interactive, it's visual, kinesthetic, all that stuff, what's great about this is then we can get John together with his friends and they can talk about the language involved and why did you choose what you chose to draw and why did you choose the quote that you came up with, and then ways that you could get closer, you know, on that. So it's the rich discussions. Thank you. Could you give them a round of applause? And before you leave, we have a prize for you for being so wonderful. So if Julie, if you would grab them, yes. You each get a premium license for another app that we're going to be showing later on.
Thanks.
So thank you. Thank you very much. It pays to volunteer, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I tap here, and I want you to see that I have a gallery. And so in my gallery, these are the stories that have been started. Okay, and you can see that we have all kinds of choices, but I'll just show you very quick. This is a math example with elementary students. I gave them the context of you need to come up with a math equation. We're studying ways to name equations, and so this is, you know, the three kids. Okay. The rich discussion then becomes, you know, is it 7 times 6 equals 42, or is it 6 times 7 equals 42, and why did you choose this? What are other ways you could have represented it, etc. So I love storylines for this, and you're only limited by your imagination. Okay. I think it's Joanne again. Yes. Joanne.
And I really think the drawings that were in here were pretty clever.
Yeah.
While Joanne's coming on up here, I'm going to show you one.
Right. And I like the fact that we joined Nearpod together with this activity so that all the other students were able to express themselves visually while we had the kids up here doing the game. So, all right, my friend.
Pretty cool.
Okay, we're sideways.
Hello.
Oh, let me try there.
Perspective. It's all about perspective.
Here we go.
So the next app we're going to feature is Voicethread, and a language arts teacher came to me and wanted to know what she could do, what could she use when she wanted her kids to be able to self-edit their writing. And in this case, it was a memoir. And she had read somewhere that if kids write and then read it out loud and then they listen back, they're better able to fix their errors. And so she wanted not only for them to be able to self-edit their work, but she also wanted the kids then to peer edit. And so since Voicethread has a recording feature on it and multiple ways for kids to comment, we decided together to use the Voicethread app. So we're going to show you, at the beginning is Tess reading her intro to the memoir. Now, this is the first time we had used it for this purpose. We were in this big room, and so you're going to hear a lot of background noise. So if you were to do it, you might want to use headphones and mic and maybe spread the kids out. So you'll hear her just reading it.
Are you in the App Store? Okay, so now I always just click on something. Follow me.
Goodbye, Joker. By Tess H. I headed to the last jump in the combination, knowing my timing was perfect. All I needed to do was get over the last jump. I felt my horse's mighty strides lift me up and over the fence, and I could feel the smile breaking out on my face as that uncapturable feeling lifted inside of me of being one with my horse. I've grown up with horses. My whole life, all I had wanted to do.
And you can put multiple texts in here. It just keeps sliding. So we're going to see just a quick text. If the kid's style is writing, then they can just type their response. So good sensory details, I can visualize the main scene. That was Connor first hour. But they can also record and annotate their comment.
Okay, good sensory details, and you have freezing, and what you could see, change I could see to I saw, So I would add what you were smelling, since you were leaving your barn. Obviously, your barn smelled like something.
Well, we figured that we would just stop right there. Anyway, so the Voicethread really affords a lot of options for kids. It's web-based. It's web-based, so you can use Voicethread on the computer. It's very global. I mean, kids, if you open it up to public, you can put something on there, like do something on bullying or whatever, and then you can have, my friends over there in California, Bridget's class can comment as well as our class, and all the people we meet in here can comment on it. So it's got that feature to it. We didn't have enough iPads for the class, so it was nice that some kids were on the computer doing it, some kids were on the iPad doing it, so it's really friendly that way, and you can get into it wherever you are. It uploads multiple file types, so if you're in kindergarten, first grade, primary, or anywhere, and you want to just put a video for them in and then have them comment on it, or a picture that one of the kids drew, and the kids can actually put that in and comment on their drawing, and then someone else can comment on it. So you can multiple file types, and then again, you can make this private, you can share it with a link, and you can make it public. Also, on the wiki, there's an example it's a science example. Julia teaches science, that uses Voicethread to teach other students about their research. So if we had time at the end, we can show it. Okay,
I think that's it for Voicethread. So we are going to, I'm going to skip a couple of things in, so you can see this. On the teacher module, we already saw these slides together. So I'm going to skip over to Nearpod and share that slide with you. I just jumped ahead because our class year guys are really smart and already knew the information I had prepared, so I'm going to skip over that. And in Nearpod, which you've been using from the beginning of our presentation, here's, again, through our TPAC lens, what the considerations were. And some of the artifacts that you'll see on the wiki, if you choose to go there, is that we use this in math quite a bit. I'm a math and a science teacher, and I facilitate work with other math and science teachers in the building. And we did several different Nearpod activities where we were finding perimeter and area. We did a data about us unit and that kind of mathematics. It was in the middle school primarily for the work I did with them. But the auditory, the visual, the kinesthetic ability of being able to draw on the screen and having it in so close in proximity to the student, instead of having one student up on the board, that was an affordance that the teachers really cared for, as well as being able to make that thinking very visible, and the ability for the teacher to be able to share out different artifacts without having to make a copy or having one person come out and they could just disseminate it to everyone at once, either anonymously or having kids, if they wanted to share who they were, they would write their name on their drawing because they wanted everybody to know that that was their work. That was one of the more powerful features that the teachers really appreciated about Nearpod. So I'm going to go to the next slide and show you and give you a chance to experience a question that is a more content-related question. And you can draw on there however you want to find perimeter. And there's a very common misconception between perimeter and area throughout. And so some teachers decided to put different shapes in there, put a grid, do all kinds. You have, again, your creativity is your only limiting factor, how you want to present this. And then as your students submit their work, doesn't say how to find it, doesn't say how to write it, it's just open-ended. Then the teacher can go ahead and choose something to share based on the kind of feedback and results that they're seeing in their teacher screen. So if we do that, I'm not going to give you a whole lot of time because we're getting tight here on the end. I'm going to just share one with you. And you can go ahead and talk about, as the instructor, put it back on the students and say, oh, is this correct? Why or why not? Is there anything different that you would do? Ask the students to collaborate together and find other approaches. So one of the mathematical practices that, we could say, is this one correct as well? Did it share? Yes, it did. Are these two answers both equally as correct? Why or why not? Okay, so the rich conversations that really are on the teacher, right? But this tool really allows flexibility to quickly and easily allow students to see different approaches and then engage in those approaches. And that's one of the things that we're trying to elevate. So if you don't want to leave it up to chance, as the instructor and designer of the lesson, you can create follow-up questions that help you not forget to get students to explain their thinking. And another follow-up question would be, can you explain how so-and-so solved that problem? How their approach was different or similar to your approach? Yeah. You could have put in a lot of different interactive slides. I could have put in a multiple choice slide. If I just wanted the answer, I wouldn't give them a draw it feature. Okay. If I just wanted to know if it was just a calculation, I could put different combinations of problems, like 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4, and just have them choose their approach. I could put all equivalent expressions in there and just see how the students are seeing it. So I could put all correct answers, but different equivalent expressions as a multiple choice option. So again, it is what you're trying to, the point of being able to use this tool that's flexible is you have to know what you're looking for and what kind of feedback as the instructor you want. If I want a visual thing, a feedback, I'll put a draw it slide. If I just want the answer, I'll put a multiple choice or a poll slide. I could put an open box for text as well. Yes, real quick. You can't change your answer unless I go back and restart that slide. So the question was, once you submit it, they can't change their answer. That's unless I go forward and back, and then it might start over. Yes, so I wouldn't really go back unless everybody was like, oh, wait, I pushed submit, and a whole bunch of people, didn't at the beginning. And that's just a learning curve a little bit for the class. So there are some things to be mindful of. All right, so we're going to move forward, and I'm going to show you just on your screen, it's a picture of the way Nearpod sends reports to you as the teacher. And it's very visual. It's like the slide you saw where I had, if it's multiple choice, a poll or question and answer, I get all those results. And one of the most powerful results, again, is that draw it feature you can see in the back here. Every drawing that was submitted is tiled. And I can click on those as the instructor and see the actual drawings that each student made from that class and export it and have that to refer to. So if I needed to revise my lesson and reteach for a group of kids, I can use that for my grouping and make decisions on that. Not have to remember, because this short-term memory is really not great. So that's another powerful feature of Nearpod. It sends it in Excel. No, it's not Excel. Right to your email, though. Okay, so those reasons are why we use Nearpod frequently. And how are we doing on time? Let's check that out. Oh, pretty well.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well.
It's 9:16. Okay, so we have a few more to go through.
So, inspiration. Raise your hand if you're familiar with inspiration for the PC. Wow, lots of you. Concept mapping is not a new idea. We know that for critical thinking skills, the kids need to be thinking in systems. Systems thinking is going to be a big buzzword. And so concept maps are a great way for students to connect ideas and to share that visibly with other people. So Inspiration, when they came out with their app for the iPad, I was like over the moon, because instead of just clicking with the mouse, the kids are now able to tap, and it's a little bit more kinesthetic than just on the PC. So I'm not going to take you to this app, since many of you know what it's like, but I am going to show you on the next slide. Okay, you can see that this is a typical KWHL template. So on the free version, there are templates ready-made. For your kids who are very linear, they can start with an outline, 1, 1A, B, etc. The kids who are very visual can start with the concept map like this. And so they can just tap it and add their information in, and then they can print it or export it, etc. The next one is an example of a student-made one. Okay, a little fuzzy. If you go to our wiki, you'll be able to see it much more clearly. Okay, but this is a group of middle schoolers, and they were working on geoterms. And so they, in the little yellow circles, they have some of the terms, and then from there, they have information about that term. And here you can see in the blue and white, there's an answer there. So they've posed questions within their work. So it's meant to be shared with others, and that makes it interactive. So, just love the inspiration. Okay.
Oh, I think we're going to.
Oh, and I did want to say, if you go downstairs and you talk to the inspiration people, they've got Kidspiration coming out. So if you're an elementary person, it's going to be much more user-friendly. K5, it's adorable. They have it available for the PC, and they are coming out with the app. So we're hopeful it'll be out soon. Okay?
Okay.
At this time, we have a 3-question exit survey through the Nearpod presentation. We also want to remind you to please do the evaluation for ISTE. But while you're taking the exit survey, we would love to, first of all, thank the people who gave us our premier licenses that we're going to be able to give out today as some giveaways. What you saw here today, except for iMovie, which is a paid app, the other ones we use the free version, but there are things that the licenses will allow you to do, like in Nearpod, you can share. Once you make your Nearpod, you can share it with teachers, and you can link out and things like that. You'll see. It'll be great for you to be able to explore, but all of you will be able to enjoy the free. So, our generator.
How many people are in the room?
Oh,
150.
Okay.
approximately.
Yeah, so we're using this number generator to pick our winners. We have some premium certificates.
Before I do that, I have to make sure.
Right, what we're going to ask you to do is, while we're giving out the certificates, if you could complete the survey, that would be helpful to us. No, this is, we're showing you how we're going to draw numbers, but you are going to complete the survey. So you're still within Nearpod right now. So as you complete the survey, you also want to have your yellow card handy, because on your yellow card we've got a number.
Right, that's the evaluation for us. So we love your feedback. That will help us do a great job later, better. But I wanted to thank Nearpod. The people of Nearpod really supported us through learning it and helping us with this presentation. The support for Nearpod is amazing. So we want to make sure we gave them a special thanks. Okay.
How many are we drawing? We have
3,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 8 winners.
right, so we have 3 Nearpod, we have 3 Inspiration,
And a couple
of Doceri Premier or premium licenses.
So if we call your number, we want you to just come on up and then see
pick one.
Joanne. Right?
Yay! Okay.
On the back of your card,
Yeah,
number
so
47.
please bring your card up and
Yellow
show
card.
us.
She needs a yellow card.
Oh, I'm sorry. We handed them out as people came in.
Here we go. No worries, no worries, no
No
worries.
worries at all.
You can see Joanne.
Sorry, that's the only worry, is that I'm going to blast everybody out of here.
Okay, so number 47, congratulations.
Yay!
Yeah. And thank you all for filling out your survey. That's very helpful to us.
85.
Okay. Number 85. That's 2.
It's called random number with the pound
Just
sign for
random
number.
number is what it's called.
Okay. We have 47, 85, 9.
So that's 3.
Yep. 100.
Okay. Our fourth winner is number 100.
108.
108. 5. 98.
I think I do. I just counted them. Okay. Number 40.
Number 40.
Yeah, like, where's the excitement? I mean, like, we're getting some free stuff.
I won. Come on down. You know. There we go.
Did number 40 come up?
He's
Yeah, winner. Okay. Number 141.
Ooh, number 141.
You know, it doesn't, because I've had it come up twice because it's random, and then I just do another, draw another. 141, if you're not here, this is the last winner.
Oh, there we go. Good.
Oh, here she comes. I was going to draw another number. We are continuing, we're working with our teachers regularly. We are continuing to add samples to the wiki. We really encourage you to email us if you have questions. These are our teachers' lessons, and we put artifacts up there and some details. But if you want to know much more about what their content was and what their outcome was for their choices, please email any of us 3, and we will share with you individually. Yeah. And our wiki has like the short version, the light version of their lessons,
Right.
but
And
we can help you with any other detail.
And we keep adding found apps. Like I found 2 apps that I don't know if you know Scratch, which is what a lot of the kids are doing for, programming, and they can make the things move and create games. Well, I wanted something for the younger kids to get them, the STEM thinking, getting them thinking. There's an app called Codable that is adorable, like for kindergarten, first graders, and they make their little character go like this, and then the next one is called, I forget the name of it. Well, it's on the wiki. There's another app that is kind of like the next step up before you get to Scratch. I can't remember what it's called. Hopscotch, thank you. Yes, Hopscotch. It's phenomenal. So thank you, everybody. That's it for today. We appreciate you. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.